Hey, Pamela Bruner here. And if you are an overgiver or if you even suspect you're an overgiver, this video is going to be super helpful for you. So what's an overgiver? Well, if you're in the transformational world, if you're a coach, a healer, speaker, consultant, whatever, you really want your clients to transform, right? I know I do. Like that is one of the things that brings us into this arena in the first place. But if you find yourself exceeding your boundaries, like it's supposed to be an hour call and all of a sudden it's 90 minutes or 2 hours, if you find yourself taking calls on weekends or at night when you're trying to do family time or something like that, that's classic overgiving. And when you're doing that, you're actually not serving your clients as well. So let me explain both what overgiving comes from and strategically a couple of things that you can do to remove or put boundaries in your overgiving. Okay, ready? Because the truth is, I do want you to succeed and I want your clients to succeed. But overgiving sets up a bad dynamic. Even if you didn't start with a bad client, you may actually create one. You know how they talk about like spoiling children? Yeah, you can spoil clients too. So here we go. Number one, you need to know that overgiving comes from fear. It's usually fear that it won't be good enough, fear that they won't get the transformation that you want them to get, fear that they won't love you enough. That was mine, okay? So my internal story has always been, I'm unlovable, I'm not likable enough. So I was somewhat of an overgiver, and I had to strategically work to set appropriate boundaries so that people know what to expect. So overgiving comes from fear. Now, the thing is, when you are overgiving, what you're saying is, I'm putting pressure on you to transform. I want you to transform so much, so I'm going to give and give and give and give and hope it's enough. That's not a recipe for success. So here are 3 strategic things that you can do to put limits on overgiving that will help you and help your clients. Just like when you have a firm hand with children, they grow up not to be spoiled brats, which is an awesome thing. All right, so number 1 way to to stop the overgiving is set expectations. So make sure that your clients aren't expecting pie in the sky results. They are very clear that this is a process, that this is what you might expect and it may or may not happen. Like set clear expectations so that you don't have to over deliver in order to keep up with their runaway expectations. Clear expectations, that's strategy number 1. Strategy number 2 is to be clear on your own boundaries. If you don't take calls on weekend, don't take calls on weekends. If you don't take calls past 6 o'clock at night, don't take calls past 6 o'clock at night. So decide before, in a calm, quiet moment, when you're not faced with this challenge from a client, what are your boundaries? And what are the allowable exceptions? Like, I don't usually take calls after 5:30 or 6 at night, but I'm actually okay if somebody requests a call up till 7 o'clock. That's okay with me. It's not okay on weekends. So that doesn't have to be your boundary, but decide what your own are. And the third strategic thing is to work on your scarcity mindset, because one of the things that can have you in overgiving mode is, oh my gosh, I've got to keep this client. I've got to make sure that this client stays with me, that they work with me more, that they come back. And that's a scarcity mindset because you're afraid that new, more ideal clients won't appear. So work on your scarcity mindset. Know that there are an abundance of clients out there that you can serve, and take a deep breath. Clients who are needy enough to actually require overgiving, as opposed to you wanting to overgive and them just going, well, this is pretty cool. Clients who are needy enough to require overgiving aren't good clients. And if your scarcity mindset is keeping you thinking you have to serve them, it's time to let go of that. Now, you may need to actually raise your rates to attract better clients, and that's a whole nother blog and a whole nother mindset issue. But I promise you, I'll be handling that in the upcoming weeks. So ask yourself, have I been guilty of overgiving? And if I have, which one of these 3 strategies am I going to implement this week? All right, see you soon.